Don in London, hello. It's July 22nd, 2009. My video is all about recovery from addiction to either substance or behaviour. My substance was alcohol, my behaviour, trying to be the best I could, and also, enjoy life to the full. So part of my life was all about having fun, and I did have a lot of fun. At the same time, it was embellished, if you like, or underpinned by an ocean of alcohol. And I always seemed to be in occupations which allowed me to drink as much as anybody else, and probably go home and drink some more. So I don't know, maybe I was behind the chintz curtain drinker as well. But the problem is, with my drinking, it got totally out of control around about 2003. And I started drinking 24/7, and that was on despair, desolation, broken down, probably I suppose I actually had a nervous breakdown in 1996, and you know what, I never recovered properly from it, in the sense that I was able to go back and do the work which caused the breakdown, and the situation and the environment which had that impact, and I didn't have enough sense to get out of it in time to regain my senses and my wits. So it's odd, really. If we're driven to work hard and be appreciated, the more we have work heaped on us, and the more often we are bullied, the more we try to perform. And for managers, that's great, because they don't have to do anything but bully and say, it's like in the credit crunch now, a lot of people are being undermined by their managerial groups simply because they can get away with it, and say, you need to do extra hours but I can't pay you, or if you don't do what I say I'll sack you, or imagine what it would be like if. So we can all get caught in traps. And in 1994 I accepted a job which put me in a very dangerous position, which was being reliant on the money and valuing myself as a material asset. And I realise now, 12 years later, that wasn't very helpful, because all humans have the right to be here, to be happy as life affords, and also sad as life affords. So I suppose I've forgiven the situation I put myself in, and also I need to forgive those people who were part of it, even if they were combative or bullies. It doesn't matter. If I harbour resentments or anger about life as it is, or has been, I cannot move on, because I get stuck in this loop of what if and how dare they, and repeat old patterns of behaviour. So for me, what helps me stay on this straight and narrow path of truth, openness, honesty and willingness, well, it's family, community, professional help, but above all, putting sober living first. And the way I do that, and know where I'm on track, is to go to fellowship meetings of AA, Alcoholics Anonymous. And here is what is said at the beginning of every meeting. It's a statement of what is AA, and it really says, we are all unique, authentic people doing our best to keep sober, one day at a time, and help each other do that by sharing experience, strength and hope. So here it goes. The AA preamble or statement of intent. Alcoholics Anonymous is a fellowship of men and women who share their experience, strength and hope with each other, that they may solve their common problem and help others to recover from alcoholism. The only requirement for membership is a desire to stop drinking. There are no dues or fees for AA membership. We are self-supporting through our own contributions. AA is not allied with any sect, denomination, politics, organisation or institution, does not wish to engage in any controversy, neither endorses nor opposes any causes. Our primary purpose is to stay sober and help other alcoholics to achieve sobriety. And that last sentence, our primary purpose is to stay sober and help other alcoholics to achieve sobriety. So that's part of step 12. It's a 12-step action program which encourages you to change your attitude and change your behaviour, or change my attitude and change my behaviour, and look at the world in a different way, which is, I'm the equal of anybody else and everybody is equal to me. Everybody has a right to be here and has their place, unless they've done something abysmal, and we have to face society's consequences. So no matter what happens, if I stay sober, the consequences are probably easier to manage and easier to deal with, because not only do I have my own wisdom based on what I've learned over the years, I have a fellowship of people who have gone through the milk and really come to understand what it is to be sober. And so sober life for me at the moment is good. And even though in recent times I've been bedeviled by should I, shouldn't I be in a relationship, and loving another person is great, but sometimes we just can't work it out together. And I've come to the conclusion that's okay, because we don't have to undermine what happened, and we don't have to change what has happened. We just have to acknowledge that different paths, yet still cherish the person. And as you might have noticed on the end of these videos, it always says cherish always. And that's my feeling about people today. Rather than treat them as superficial, or treat them superficially or with indifference, I'd rather cherish them and know where I am with people and my feelings about them. So that's all to the good. And of course I've learned that in the fellowship. And the gift is, we've always had these feelings, because they were given to us by nature and nurture. But life can push them down and out of the way. So for me these days, I use this book, Daily Reflections, each day to share a bit of experience, strength and hope and what might be happening. And in the 12 steps it refers to powers greater than us, or a higher power, or God. And for me, a power greater than me is the collective wisdom of humanity, the collective wisdom of those who stay sober on a daily basis in AA, the collective wisdom of my family. Those are higher powers, and I need to plug into them, because excluding them means I have to rely on just my outlook, which can get very, very narrow and very dictatorial about what I will and will not do. I need to be included and share and be involved, so that I can modify my opinion as life goes on and learn how to be. So Daily Reflections today, it does mention God along the way, and you can decide what God is for you. It might be nature, providence, a divine being bigger than the universe. But I guess, as somebody said to me, if I try to define what God is, or believe I know and can define God, it's really to deny him, she or it, because how could I actually understand this universe? So anyway, there is where I am. So here we go, the good and the bad for July 22nd. My Creator, I am now willing that you should have all of me, good and bad. And that comes from AA's big book, page 76, in the 4th edition, I suspect. Goes on to say, the joy of life is in giving, being freed of my shortcomings, that I may more freely be of service, always humility to grow in me. Allows me humility to grow in me. My shortcomings can be humbly placed in God's loving care and can be removed. The essence of step 7 is humility, and what better way to seek humility than by giving all of myself, good and bad, to God, or good conscience in my case, so that he may remove the bad and return me to the good. And you know what, we have good and bad in every single person, and we're all capable of good and bad. And for me, step 7 is all about having enough courage, faith and confidence to meet the day head on, with my eyes open, with my ears open, listening, and being careful with people, not to upset them, because if I upset people, he really upsets me. So if I'm getting angry about something, I need to say, hold on a minute, why am I angry? It's probably because it's hitting me in the face. I'm putting on a brave face. My ego is rattled, and behind it is fear of not being listened to, or fear of being undermined and not cherished. So one of the things my father taught me on his deathbed, and it had to be on his deathbed, because he got to a place where he only had 3 months to live, and we knew that. And he stopped drinking and smoking. He was a very good drinker, and I followed him. We were both in the same boat, oceans of alcohol, and if we used to dive in regularly every day for some more. But he said to me, he said, there's 3 things, and this applies, this is not now nearly 18, 19, 20 years ago. He said, about my mother, he said, I never told her enough about how I cherished her. And he said, this is my greatest sadness, that he treated her with superficiality and indifference. And he said, for goodness sake, make sure that you cherish people and don't treat them with superficiality or indifference. So important to him. It was on his deathbed, and I'm glad he shared. So when I say the serenity prayer, God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. It's with cherishing just for today.